This video will give you an overview of the Macrostock Scale application and Macrostock Studio website. Right now we're looking at the Macrostock Scale, and when you first launch the app, you'll be brought to the session details screen. On this screen, a session will automatically be created using the time or date and time of the session. This can be edited to a name that you choose. There's three simple options on the screen. One is around waiting for an identification tag on the animal, being an EID or a visual tag. Second one is around whether you're drafting or sorting. And the third one is whether you're recording any data on new animals that come in. If you see an icon, an information icon next to anything in the app, tapping on it will give you a quick explanation of what it's about. In this demo, we'll turn on drafting and sorting, and then we'll tap next. You can see by default we've set up one gate, gate 1, drafting or sorting by weight in the entire weight range. To edit this, simply tap onto the gate, and then in this case we'll add an extra scenario, so we're going to say up to 60 kgs or pounds. We'll go next gate. Now you can see in the background here we have gate 1 0 to 60, gate 2 60.1 and over. If we continue that, so do the next one at 150, and next gate, you now see it's 60 to 150, 60.1 to 150, 150.1 and over. We're able to draft or sort on other criteria as opposed to weight. So for instance, if I tap on gate 4 here and turn off weight and turn on weight gain per day, we can enter and sort on that. We can put a hold on any gate, so if an animal's coming through and you're auto sorting, it won't be released until you manually release the animal because it'll be held. We can draft by mob or group, so in Macrostock Studio, if you've sorted the animals into mobs or groups, you can then sort or draft on that. So for instance, we could say any animals that are in mature cows and first calvers, to put them out gate 4. Can draft by sex, so it could be a multiple criteria, so you might say any animals that are immature cows or first calvers, they probably would be females. However, they would, if in this setup, if a male came through, it wouldn't meet the criteria and it would be stopped. We can draft if the animal has an EID tag on it or not, or draft by alert. On any gate, you can assign the animals to a mob. So if we were to put assign first calvers, so any animals that went out gate 4 would be assigned to the mob first calvers. So you can now see on the screen we're drafting 0 to 60, 60 to 150, 150 and over, and then also these mob-based rules as well. If you don't like your setup, simply delete it. When you're satisfied with your draft setup, select the right arrow and then start the session. When you come to the main weight screen, the weight's obviously nice and big, front and center. Along the bottom we have some weight-based and session-based information, so tally how many animals you've weighed, the previous weight of the current animal, the total gain or loss, and the daily gain or loss, how many days since you last weighed this animal, and what that date was. The EID tag or visual tag will be displayed down here. Working across, there's 5 more tabs across the top, and you can work on any of these tabs. The weight will become smaller and appear in the top right hand side, along with the weight and session information down the right hand side. To add a trait or a treatment, just hit the green plus and it will be automatically added. You can select from a list and then enter the value. You can set a trait to repeat, so that if we turn this on, every animal would get a rank score of 2. If we set it to required, the animal and your auto sorting, the animal won't be released until you've recorded a trait value against it. The trait list is completely customizable. Tap on the pencil icon at the top here You see a list of all the traits to edit them, or you can create a new one. When you create a new one, there's one setting at the bottom which is around the type of data that you're entering, whether it be a string, an integer, or a whole number, or a decimal number, and that drives the type of keyboard that appears on screen. So in the terms of rank, that will be a score and a whole number, so we get a number keypad. If we were to select a comment, that'll be a string or comment type value, and we get a full keypad to enter more information. If you want to remove a trait, just hit the rubbish bin icon. Under treatments, very similar process. If you have a Pari electronic dosing gun and you turn it on, it will automatically connect and it will create a treatment entry for you. You select the treatment that you're working with, and then the rest will be calculated as the animals are weighed. The information will be transmitted to the gun. You pull the trigger and then it will be recorded into the app. If you override or adjust the gun up or down more or less than the calculated dosage and then dose the animal, that updated amount will be reflected back into the app, so it's an accurate reflection of what's been treated onto the animal. You can add as many treatments as you like, just keep tapping on the green plus button and swipe across. Next tab is the session tab. This essentially is all the records that you've recorded in this session. So it's the EID tag, the visual tag, the weight and the gait, and then the traits that you might be recording, and that view is able to be adjusted to suit what you're wanting to see. So you might say, I want to see the comment, but I don't want to see the condition score or anything, and I don't want to see the visual tag. Beg my pardon, those first three have to be there. But you can now see we have comments. If we say we want to bring in the rank as well, and we'll call it a pregnancy score, you can now see we have the 3 extra additional traits loaded into the system. Moving across under statistics, some simple stats here. Unfortunately, I'm working in an empty session, so I can't show them properly. But we get maximum, minimum, average weights. We'll get a pie chart showing how many animals have gone out each gate and the number. We'll get a table which will show how many animals have gone out each gate, the average gain and the total weight per gate, and also some information on the treatments. Next tab, on the animal tab, you can record detail against the animal, such as their sex, their breed against them, and you can also do a tag replacement. So in the event that a EID tag has been ripped out or lost, you can then search the visual tag and then replace the EID tag without losing the history on the animal. The table in the middle will show you all the weights that you've recorded against the animal and the gain between those sessions and the date that they were recorded. Then last, under the history tab, you've got all the traits that you've recorded against the animal and the date and value, and all the treatments that you've recorded against the animal. Some other settings in the app, there's a slider here which allows you to adjust all settings within the scales themselves to do with the weighing speed, type of load bars, etc., and apply software updates. You can connect up to 4 Pari dosing guns. When they connect, you'll get a green icon so you know which ones are connected. There's a help and support menu, and then there's other settings such as language and other specific settings. Then the power icon gives you a few options of reviewing your session setup, ending the session. You can export the sessions to a Excel spreadsheet. You can log out, or you can exit the app. When we exit the app, we'll be prompted to sync any data to the cloud, and that'll automatically sync it with the Macrostock Studio web. This brings us to the Macrostock Studio website online. You can now see, if I log in here, we now have all the same information that I had previously seen on the Macrostock scale. If we start with the sessions, so the sessions that we've recorded of animals, and if we select some animals here, you can see the average, minimum, average and maximum weights for the animals, any treatments, which there was none in that session, and then some information on how many animals went out each gate. Coming across, we can see the animal, or the history and the animals. So if we look at the animals, this is the animals that have been weighed and their live weight and the draft gate they were sent out. These views can be customized as well, so we can say if we don't want to see the sex, the visual tag and the breed, and then apply that, you can now see we have a simpler view. They can be exported out to a PDF or a CSV file. On any of these screens, you can select an animal or multiple animals and edit it. So if we select an animal, we get a slide out with all the details about it and also the history of the animal. So we can edit an individual animal. Here you can see we've got the weight and the 2 treatments that this animal's been given and the dates that it happened, and we can scroll across and we can see all the weights that have been recorded against that animal. If you select multiple animals or all of them in the event, you can then set an alert against them, you can bulk edit them, or you can delete them. Going back to the history tab, you can then look at the history based on either their live weight, traits that have been recorded against the animals, or treatments that have been recorded against the animals. In this scenario, we'll look at live weight. We can now see the animals here. We can see on January they were weighed, March they were weighed, April they were weighed, June they were weighed, and so on. So you're able to see, looking across, how they're trending. Likewise with any treatments, you can see they've only been given 1 treatment on the 24th of April 2023. Going back to the animals or main home screen, we start with the mobs. So if you've sorted your animals into mobs, you can then manage them here. Groups also work exactly the same way. A mob should be, in our view, should be a reflection of the group of animals, the physical group of animals, versus the grouping might apply across several mobs. If we go to replacement heifers, here we can set a target. You can set targets against any trait or treatment. I've set one here, set one on this mob for live weight. So I said that 1st of April I want them to be 200 kgs, and at the end of December 23 I want them to be 600. You can now see our trend line here, which is what our target line is, and you can see that our average, which is the blue line, is our average weights for these animals. We can bring in a maximum and a minimum weight line as well if you wish, which would then shows that we've got some that are really dragging the averages down. You can group by live weight. So this can be adjusted just by adjusting the slider, or you can type in a value. So if you said I want to know every animal below 480, and I want to know every animal above 500. You can now see we've got 2 above 500, got 4 in between, and 4 below. Same thing can be done with weight gain, and we also have a weight gain graph here showing how the weight gain is trending for this group of animals. Jumping across the performance tab, you can then see their weight information, how they're tracking with weight gain to their target, and how many kgs or pounds they have to go to get to that target. Under the history, you can then see all the animals and all the weights, similar to what we looked at in the event for the animals that are in this mob. So they may have been weighed at different dates, but if they're in one mob, then you can see all the information. Under the animals tab, you can then see, again, you can see the animals, but we also have an option here to expand it. So you can look at an individual animal and what's been applied to it. Last tab takes you into sessions, so you can see all sessions that these animals have been weighed in. So in this scenario, if we click on April, they were drenched in the ET calves file again in weights. 2 different weighing sessions in September and 1 in October. You can click on those and go and have a look at that information, what they were weighing at. Animals can have alerts added against them. An alert could be for anything, but most commonly used for like a withholding period on a treatment, and that can be applied automatically as they're treated. There's other treatments can be added for anything from a lame animal to some genetic record you may want an alert on next time the animal comes through. When an animal with an alert is brought onto the scales in the Macrostock scale, on the screen will appear, there will be a large red banner will appear across the screen and tell you what the alert is. We're able to record transactions of purchases or sales against animals, and then you can track on that. You can then set a performance target on a purchase. So you may want to purchase animals from farmer A and animals from farmer B and set a target. That way you can then track the animals regardless of the mob or when you weighed them. You can then track their performance and see who's providing the better quality animals. There's other settings within the app for setting up your traits and measurements and breeds, etc., which will then pull through to the scale. There's a support tab, and then last with information, then lastly we have the ability to import files. It's a simple process. If you select upload CSV, then you just map the fields that you want. See if we've got something here. So I've got one here with some weights in it. So then we'd select, that's the tag number, and this is the weight. And then select next. Select the session that it's going to go to or create a new one. You can select a breed to put against them all, a date of birth, a group or a mob. You can add new ones if there's a green plus there. And then when you go next, it'll just automatically import them into the system. So overall, when you've finished this data, next time you open Macrostock, the Macrostock scale, the data will be synced down and you'll be ready to go and weigh with the most current information. I hope this has been useful, and any questions, we'll be happy to answer them, one of the team. Thank you.